Path of Exile 2 is available for everyone to play right now, and it's going to be free to play for everyone soon. But you mobile gamers are looking for something similar to Path of Exile 2 that you can dive into on your mobile device. I know this because I'm in the same boat. I love action RPGs, but I also really like the ability to dive in on mobile and even do some crossplay. It's the way of the future. So, what games can you play right now on your phone or tablet that are a lot like Path of Exile 2? Well, I have 5 of them for you today with a couple of runner-ups. Let's dive into the list. Now, the absolute #1 best option for you is Undecember. Undecember is a game that's both available on Steam and on mobile, and it has cross-platform for both. This was developed over in China and is very much along that kind of game, but it doesn't have any of the anime-style elements to it. The reason that I say this is the best if you're looking for something like Path of Exile is the depth of the game, the skill trees, the rune system inside of the game. It definitely is a deep dive into an action RPG, not something that's really just easy to figure out and easy to dive into. There's a big learning curve inside of this one, and if you're looking for something like Path of Exile 2, you're probably looking for something with that similar style depth. This is the deepest option for you if we're looking at straight up action RPGs that are available on mobile devices. I guess until Path of Exile 2 Mobile comes out, which who knows if that's ever actually coming. Inside of Undecember, you play as a class in a classless system. What this means is you play the game and you don't have to choose if you want to be a barbarian, a wizard, a demon hunter, or a monk. No, you make these changes and choices as you progress your character based off of skills and gear. And this is something that I truly love about the game. Based off of the choices you make from gameplay, you can play the game that you want to. Not to mention, the game looks incredible. I mean, look at the gameplay here. This is actual gameplay from the PC. Now, if I'm being very frank with you, I prefer to play Undecember on PC than on mobile just because of the compactness of the controls. With that said, that's a problem you're gonna have with any mobile title that also is on PC as well. The controls are gonna be a little bit compact. Unless if you play on a large iPad and then you're good to go. At the end of the day, Undecember is an amazing action RPG. It's free to download and play for anyone today, and it's one that is most aligned and most directly compatible to Path of Exile 2. Now, I want to let you guys know that Raziel was going to be another one on my list. This is an action RPG very much like Path of Exile or Diablo, and I had a lot of fun with it while I was waiting for Diablo Immortal, but as I was diving in to get more information about the game and to play a little bit more again, I came upon this notice. Dear Warriors, we've spent a lot of fun together since the game launched. You could tell this is a foreign written thing, and that's okay. But due to various reasons, we now have to make the difficult decision to remove. They're gonna close Raziel. It is closed. I logged into the game and it's no longer available right now. December 2nd, 2024, the game will be removed from Google Play and the game server will be shut down. Sad times. This was a fun game to play. It would have made the list, but unfortunately now it can't. Now, another great option for you is Torchlight Infinite. Now, no, this doesn't have the dark fantasy feel that you would expect from a Path of Exile 2, but it does have a mobile and another Steam PC rendition. You can play this on Steam or mobile, both absolutely for free, and it brings you into that world of Torchlight, which, as I mentioned, is very different than something you'd expect from something from Path of Exile 2. That said, combat, very good. Characters inside of the game, really great. Colors and the way that it looks, if you're into this comic book style thing, yeah, that really is awesome as well. And the gameplay is continuously updated. There's new bosses, new events, new characters coming to the game all the time. And it stays true to what we have always known from this IP. Definitely a fun game if you're looking for an action RPG, but also definitely a little bit lighter, less dungeony, and less dreary than you would expect from PoE. Now, with this said, out of a lot of the games I'm going to be sharing with you guys today, this is probably the second most popular game from the list. Now, I'm going to give you the #1 most popular action RPG on mobile that I would recommend the most. Believe it or not, Undecember that we were just talking about, although it most resembles Path of Exile 2, it is not by any means one of the most popular ones. So it's important that you have all this information. Undecember may be really close in the way that the game plays, but Torchlight Infinite here is a much more popular game with a larger player base. Now, if you're looking for some retro hack and slash, Anima is your game. This one's been out for a while now and definitely has a retro feel. It more feels like a Diablo 2 action RPG style game, but we have to say this game is very well put together, really great dungeons and zones for you to play inside of. Classic style gameplay. You build up your character, you make your hero what you want him to be based off of the equipment and the skill system, but it just seems like, you know, a decade ago's version of this. With that said, Path of Exile 1 is approximately that old, and it's going to give you a similar feel. Now, no, this doesn't have the depth of Undecember, nor the graphics of Undecember, but it does have a really classic, solid feel if you're looking for an action RPG. So at the end of the day, this is one of the best ones out there if you don't mind the more classic gameplay style. If you do, and you want something that's a little bit more up to date, I have some other options for you, including the #1 most popular action RPG that you could play for free on your phone. Yeah, we're getting there. Dungeon Hunter 6 is up next, and no, this is not the most popular, and this is actually a game that a lot of people complained about, saying that it wasn't as good as Dungeon Hunter 5. But what I do like about Dungeon Hunter 6 is that it gives you that open world to play. You could play as enemies. You take the enemies, you defeat them, and you could have them be your pets that kind of fight alongside of you. Really cool elements inside of this game. On top of that, it's one of the newest games on the list. The graphics are on point in the list. The combat's on point too. The problem is the older renditions. Dungeon Hunter 5 was not really a pay-to-win model, where Dungeon Hunter 6 definitely did lean into that for the game. That being said, it's a free-to-download game. You definitely can test it out, see what you think of it, play along, and it definitely brings you into a larger open world where you'll notice there's a lot of other players right there beside you. This is a fun game. It is one that I would even consider playing on my Diablo Immortal channel. But for the time being, I'm going to keep it at bay, although I do think that it's one that you guys would enjoy. I think it's a very solid game in the action RPG space, specifically on mobile. Now, the game that's the #1 in action RPGs on mobile that also has a PC client is one that I have a second YouTube channel for, and that is Diablo Immortal. Let me introduce you to my Barbarian at Paragon 702. Now, inside of Diablo Immortal, there are a host of different classes that you can choose from, with a brand new class coming this summer, starting with the Barbarian, which is the one I choose, the Wizard. You have the Demon Hunter as an option, the Tempest, which is the newest class of the Diablo series overall. You could choose to be the Acrobat, called the Monk, the Crusader, like a Barbarian but on horseback and with a nice nasty shield, the Necromancer, summoning enemies or summoning to fight enemies from the dead, and the Blood Knight, specific to the Diablo Immortal franchise. We do have the Druid coming to the game in approximately June or July. I'm really looking forward to that one. Now, Diablo Immortal has so much depth to it, whether you're gearing up your champion, running through open world, whether you're trying to fight down the big Helliquary bosses, or engaging in PvP inside of the game, Diablo Immortal has it all. It also has a huge marketplace where you could spend a lot of money, but I will tell you, this can be played absolutely free to play. And there are many players that I know that spend $0 in the game and take it for everything that it has to offer. This is the best option for an action RPG. Diablo Immortal is the one that you could play free to play and do everything inside of the game, except for win in PvP against the whales, because that's not going to happen. Curb your expectations, and you could have a great time playing this game. It even has new events that drop inside of the game every single week, so there's always something to do inside of Diablo Immortal. And you can come on over to my channel, Echo Gaming Diablo, and watch my videos every day so I could keep you up to date on what's happening and how to best your time inside of the game. Now, I have two runner-ups on the list today. Devil May Cry Peak of Combat is one of them, a game that I think is really fantastic. Now, this is more of an action game than an action RPG, but it does encompass all of that hack and slash and that dark fantasy that you're looking for from a Path of Exile. Inside of this game, you could play as multiple characters at once with the tag mechanics. You could tag in your teammate, to finish the fight. It's actually pretty cool. Now, the reason why this one wasn't on the list earlier is not because of the graphics, not because of the combat, not because of the sentiment of the game. It's really all because it's more action, less top-down action RPG. So the gameplay style does differ quite a bit from Path of Exile 2. That being said, if you like hack and slash combat, solid graphics, and fast action, this is a great option for you to play as well. And Immortal Awakening is another runner-up. This is probably the weakest of all of them on the list here today, but that being said, it does offer some fun combat in an action RPG sense. You could also play as a bunch of different classes, as you can see, and you could find yourself having some fun inside of this one. For me, I'm going to stick with Diablo Immortal and some of the others from the list, but I wanted to give you an option of something that was just different that you probably have never heard of. Now, I hope you guys left this video with some inspiration to play some of these games. I really will tell you that a lot of them are very good and absolutely free to play. Hope you find some enjoyment with your favorite hack and slash ARPG dungeon crawler style games and decide to subscribe to the channel so you don't miss out on my content every single day. On top of that, if you want to dive in deeper, check out my website, echogaming.io, where I take you deep inside of all